All right, well, as demonstrations have erupted across the nation in response to the killing of George Floyd, Oregon leaders have stepped in to speak up.
Members of the legislature's People of Color Caucus plan to introduce legislation focusing on police accountability and more in the next session. Senator Frederick of Oregon's 22nd District is with us this morning to talk more about that. Senator, good morning.
Good morning. How are you folks?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Good. We appreciate your time this morning. We want to talk first about just your sense of what's happening right now. We're seeing protests here in Portland and around the country entering their third week. What is your reaction to what you've been seeing?
Well, I am frankly comforted that we have these kinds of approaches. We have so many different people who are out there making it clear that they think that we need to revamp, we need to do something differently in terms of public safety. And I'm really pleased with that, quite frankly. Now, there are some folks who are doing things that are attempting to try to dislocate that whole approach and dismiss it. But I think you're still seeing literally hundreds of thousands of people around the country and around the world saying that we need to look at this issue and look at it seriously.
Yeah, it's been interesting, especially to watch the protests around the world in some places that you just wouldn't have thought they'd had that huge turnout. What are some of the reforms that you want to see come out of this?
Well, the People of Color Caucus, it's 9 of us, have introduced 3 different particular things that we're looking at. One is looking at a new investigation system that involves the Attorney General doing investigations of use of force cases around the state. Another one deals with arbitration. This is a little known situation, but in fact, many cases of police discipline are dismissed by an arbitrator, even though they may find that the person has done something wrong. They are still dismissed because they've been able to do that over the years, and they see it as precedent. So we want to make sure that the arbitrator has to make decisions in a certain range that's part of a contract. And then finally, we're going to look at a work group to look at all of the issues related to police accountability, and perhaps come back with a second special session at some point, or certainly bring these things up in the full session that begins in February. So we have a long list of issues that we want to deal with, but they include eventually things like chokehold issues, the militarization of the police, and a number of things, including things like how do we determine responsibility, financial responsibility for people who violate the law, violate the lives of other folks.
Yeah, you know, Senator, we've heard, I know the president has said that some of the things on the table talking about limited liability for officers, things like that, he's saying are non-starters. It seems like this could be contentious as we look at trying to make changes at the state or at the federal level. Are you optimistic that some of these changes may actually get put into place this time at higher than just a local level?
Well, I am optimistic, though, that things will be put into place, and I am optimistic that things will take place at the federal level. I pay very little attention to what the president says and how he's approaching this situation. He has fanned the flames of this situation, so I'm not particularly interested in his concerns. I think that we will see some things take place at the congressional level in the House. I hope that the pressure will be on for the Senate to follow through and get some things done nationally. But we are going to try to work on things, on issues that are local, and try to get things that are going to take place at the state, what we can do at the state. I know the city has 19 different approaches that they want to take in dealing with these issues. I think we're going to see some significant changes. How long it'll take to get those changes? Well, quite frankly, I've had bills that I've been working on for more than 10 years. We're starting to see some of those bills come through, and people say, you know, we ought to get involved in that. But I think we're going to see a number of things. Like, for instance, I think we'll see a database, open to other police agencies before they hire someone who has had significant discipline issues.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like something is different this time. I know I've read that you've said that to this day you worry about your own life when you're pulled over, when you see that police car behind you. So it seems like a lot of people are working to make sure that change does finally happen, including yourself.
Well, we have a window of opportunity to make a difference. I think we can hit a reset button on this whole situation and understand that what we really need, we need folks who can deal with violent issues, but we also need, most of the time police are dealing with mental health issues or sometimes domestic violence issues, but not necessarily having to pull their weapons all the time on things. So we need to figure out how we provide for the resources and the priorities within any sort of situation. I think former mayor and former police chief Tom Potter said it very well. He said that we should be moving from law enforcement to peace officers again. And I think that's what we need to start looking at.
Yeah. Well, Senator, we appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us this morning. We'll, of course, be keeping a close eye on proposed legislation and reforms as we go throughout 2020 and beyond. Thank you so much.